I would be lying if I said that I knew about balbals and busaos before skinwalkers and wendigos. But the truth is, I was exposed to Western folklore way, way, way before figuring out the local residents. But for this episode, we have insights into skinny girls and Wendy's, as Elsie would call it. Insight that she's gleaned from her work mom. We hear some stories of her experiences in the US, information about skinwalkers and wendigos, and an experience in Bicol. Enjoy.
Hindi kasi ang
Okay.
isip ko nga parang, kasi parang feeling ko, I've heard that story before, the same creature, pero yun nga sa mga natives nga yung story. Kaya nung kinikwento mo siya sa akin, parang sabi ko, hindi kaya ito nga yung S-word nga ba yung...
No, I would be dead. Like, Sam, like, I would be dead. Kasi, one of the stories, and I'm so sorry to interrupt, one of the stories that we're told na, sabi ng, ng work mom ko, she's native, right? Na, even we don't know kung anong tunay na itsura ng S. Kasi, the only things that we know about BS is yan yung lang, that's the only thing that they allowed to like leave the tribe. I think I heard like one story na they did encounter one, tapos talagang tinawag lahat ng elders sa buong tribe nila or sa neighboring tribes just to fend that one away. Kasi daw yung S daw, yung mga skinny girls, the thing is with them is dati silang mga shaman na
Yes.
they did some taboo thing. And the difference between sa skinny girl at sa Wendy's is that yung Wendy's, pure instinct lang sila. Pero yung S, they have like the mind of a human. So mas intelligent sila. And they sometimes just hunt for fun.
Mm-mm.
So, pag ako po yung, like, let's say, like I did come across one, I would not be here. And apparently one of like, okay, so there's another thing po, Sam, na it's more found in Appalachia, but it's kind of found everywhere as well. The phenomenon called not deer. So hindi sila usa, pero like they
yes.
look like usa.
Yes.
Okay.
And the telltale sign for that is, the thing is, I think pag sabi nila daw na S, may mali daw sa katawan ng usa. Halimbawa, they like took the form of the usa, may mali sa kanila. Like, masyadong mahaba yung leeg or something.
Hindi nila nakopy ng maayos. Parang kumbaga...
Opo, that's true. Yep, that's what happened. I think I don't know if I'm ready to tell this story, pero like I've told ate or Ninang Sparkles about it na habang nag-drive ako papunta sa university ng kapatid ko kasi she was living there, and she went out for vacation. I saw something something weird happened on my drive, which is why I'm like, bakit palagi yung nag-drive ako? Like there's something weird. Where parang it was meant to be like maybe like an hour-ish drive na it felt like 2 hours kasi I was driving on this one part of the road na it just kept going and going, and but parang it was nighttime too and bilog yung buwan, and like all of a sudden yung parang yung dilim parang it changed and nag-drive lang ako, and also at that time I just bought my car. It's 2019 Subaru, and that was like around 2019 type of thing, and in the fall of 2019 that thing where I was driving and then the darkness changed. My car started lagging and started acting weird. Na the GPS was not, I was moving, but the GPS was not moving anywhere. So I was like, that was weird. And then I just tried very hard to put like the best vibes out there because I'm like, okay, so let's stay calm.
Yeah, ayaw mo masiraan in the middle of the night.
Ayaw mo masiraan, no. And the thing is, I'm like, ano bang nangyari sa kotse ko? It's bago. I just filled up. Like and it should be like a quick drive up from like my workplace to the university. And then I kept driving and then somehow finally, like, I broke out of that darkness thing, and then the rear view mirror, like, I saw this deer. So I was like, ah, fuck. So I kept driving, and then I'm so thankful na, I took a different route home
Yes, yes.
after that. So I made it alive, thankfully. So
Have you seen the show? Have you seen the show From? That's the title, From.
hindi po.
So, I think similar, hindi mas similar, pero again, check nyo na lang sa YouTube yon. From, horror siya. 3 seasons na siya. Parang similar to your story na you're driving along the wooded highway and then suddenly you get stuck in a place and you can't get out of that place. Parang ganun. So I can understand why some Americans have that feeling. Kasi again, you drive long distances and sometimes ikaw may experience kan ganun, di ba? So
Yeah. I'm just very thankful na parang it doesn't happen as often as like people who drive like the Devil's Highway down in like California, Nevada. Oh my God, I forgot about me going to New Mexico. Okay.
oh, ano yan?
Sorry. I just remembered this. So, pumunta kami sa kasal ng pinsan ng habi ko, right?
Mm.
And the thing is, I felt fine, pero there's this like nagging feeling in the back of my mind. Pero like I was like, this is okay. I thought it was just parang, I don't know, parang like nerves kasi I'm meeting like his entire family at that point kasi baguhan pa lang kami nagde-date. And I was like, oh, baka nervous lang ako. Pero the more that I was like, oh, I don't think this is nervousness anymore. Kasi like I got a few drinks in me and I was like, oh, I'm fine. Pero like anytime we were driving out in the desert kasi from Albuquerque, like the airport, papunta sa lodging namin for like our stay sa Airbnb, there's an hour of desert.
Okay,
with
hour of desert.
Nothing in between. Absolutely nothing in between. And Sir Nick, yung parang yung mga light posts sa mga highway, none of that. Absolutely nothing of that. So, total darkness. And I was like, oh, I'm just nervous. But then I remembered, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Navajo territory.
Okay.
So I'm like, is that what I'm feeling? Because there's like mountains and plateaus and there's some little canyons here and there in New Mexico that's not as big as the Grand Canyon. But pero, like you can see na yung layers of the earth from like the whatever however many million years ago it was. But after na pumunta kami sa pag uwi ko na lang sa Illinois, I was like, oh my God, I was in that thing's territory. And at that point in my like life, I wasn't very good at shielding and the basics. So I'm like, oh my God. So even if na wala sila sa sa paligid ninyo or whatever, parang if you're kind of sensitive to that kind of things, you might feel it or them.
It's similar.
Somewhere.
I think it's similar to the idea or the concept of kaya di ba sinasabi na yun nga, don't say it kasi ma-attract mo. So again, parang sorry medyo out there pero
yeah,
yung concept ng sa quantum physics yun yung connection. Sorry, nakalimutan ko yung term. Okay, editor's note. It is quantum entanglement. Yun yung tinatry kong i-discuss. Pero kasi same concept siya na, okay, someone tells you, I live in this house and I think there's something there. Similar to what happened to Liz, tsaka kay Nicholas. I live in this house, ganyan. And immediately, Nicholas was able to he didn't remote view He went to that place, he went to that house in his mind, and nakita niya yung spirit sa place. Nag-connect siya kagad. Dinidescribe pa lang ni Liz nun. Gets? So parang, like, you can really make a connection immediately, anytime. Parang ganun lang. With just a thought, he connected to that place. And he saw the different spirits there. So I think it's the same concept na you think of someone, kaya nga, minsan na rin, di ba? You think of someone and then mamaya konti may call from that person. Quantum entanglement, tama si Martin, ayun. Quantum entanglement. So I think it's the same concept na if you think Wendy's or si Skinny Girl and malakas yung antenna mo, tok, 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 maalam nila, parang, uy, meron tao nearby, pinag-uusapan ako parang gano'n. Feeling ko
Yeah,
it's similar.
that's
Quantum entanglement. Check nyo. Parang, feeling ko ganun eh. Feeling ko ganun.
yeah, I feel like that that makes a lot of sense. Pero like again, like I'm so thankful na hindi ko talaga iniisip yung mga S at mga W's back then kasi I was just focused on trying to make a good impression. Kasi I'm like, oh my gosh, this is his whole entire family. Oh my God. I know. Oh God. And okay, but like one more tip from my Native American work mom. She told me na pag nag-hike daw ako, or halimbawa nasa forest ako, maski nag-drive or anything, pag bigla daw tumahimik or pumunta daw ako sa place na tahimik na wala kang narinig na mga ibon or yung wind or yung rivers or creeks, ganun, I should turn back. Don't run.
Pag nawala yung sound?
Pag nawala yung sound, parang total silence, either when you get there or when pumunta ka, or like, when you get there and suddenly it's very quiet, or nung pumunta ka doon and it's already quiet, just turn around and walk very calmly away. Just go back to where you came from kasi daw, sabi daw niya, pag wala daw, there's something wrong in the forest if you can't hear life in it. And that's like my biggest takeaway from all the wisdom that she's passed down to me. So, yeah, guys, kasi daw sabi daw niya, pag wala daw buhay, may, I think, kumukuha daw ng buhay or something like that. That's what she said. So I just listened to that because I have perseverance, and I'm a respectful young lady, and she's technically an elder.
Yes.
So ganun.
So I was talking with Nicholas. Meron siyang mini-mentor dati na parang bata. Sa Harvard siya nag-aral. Sabi niya, nagulat siya na may entities siya nakikita sa US na never niya nakikita sa Philippines. So it makes sense na iba rin talaga yung itsura, I guess, visually, iba itsura ng entity sa... Ako naman, feeling ko, it's because of the... So this goes back to one of my interviews with, I'm not sure if it's with the light worker or someone else, ibang energy sa US. Because feeling ko yung trauma,
Oh, absolutely.
yung in-eradicate nila mga civilization. I mean, yung mga American Indian. So parang, tsaka yung civil war rin nila, grabe yung civil war nila eh. Ang dami nilang nagpatayan sila eh.
Yep.
So feeling ko, yung collective energy ng states, US, iba eh. So feeling ko iba rin entities na nag-attract doon.
Yeah, I don't know. This was also happening when I was driving. Again, di ko alam kung bakit. Maybe kasi my defenses are down or something because I'm just focusing on not, on getting getting to my destination. One time I was driving, I was having a fun time, and out of nowhere, there was something that crossed the street, and the thing was, yung legs lang niya, it's almost as tall as the trees.
Talaga? As the trees?
Like, yeah, and I was like, what the sorry. Kasi, but the thing, I don't know kung mababa lang yung frequency ko at that point.
Yes.
But I just saw like the silhouette of the thing, like, and it looked like, I don't know how to explain it, and I promise you, like, that I'm trying my best to actually like describe it as best as possible. It's like parang napakalaki niyang yung hindi siya stick figure kasi it doesn't have like yung circle na head. It's just like, alam niyo po ba yung yung sa mga car dealerships na may parang squiggly noodle thing?
Yes, yung nililipad ng wind. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing, it's like that. Pero siya, very tall. And the thing is, like, it's like a shadow that you can pick out of other shadows. And it's big, and it just crossed the street nonchalantly. And the thing was, it was crossing the street from a foresty place to another foresty place.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's like a forest guardian or something, pero he was not, or I think it's a he. It felt like a he, and it just crossed the street like it was nothing. Like it was, that was actually the first time I saw it. The second time I saw it, I nearly scared my grandma and my two aunts because they were in the car with me, and I went because another smaller one crossed the street, and it was just standing in the median between like the incoming traffic and then the one that's going the opposite way. So it was just standing in the grassy part of the median. Again, it's also from like a woody area to another woody area because I was driving past another forest preserve at that time. So I don't know kung ano talaga sila, kung mga taga doon talaga sila or if they're guardians or something. Pero it's always there. And there's also like maliit na version of it. Not like super super maliit, pero like a person size it, like maybe like maybe someone who's like 5'3", 5'4", some that kind of size. And I've seen it like it's always with trees though. So di ko alam kung if that's what they truly look like or if that's how I see them. Pero my takeaway from them is they're not harmful. They're just there. So like those are the entities that I see sometimes. Also, there's a manggagaya because I remember I first got my apartment and there's a pattern here. It's kind of near a woody area. And I remember I was going out with my friend. She's my roommate. And we just got home from getting sushi with her friends and, kind of introducing me to her friends. And dalawang entrance sa apartment building namin. There's one sa parang front side of the apartment and there's one sa likod. So it's like the backdoor kitchen apartment. And we were supposed to go to our apartment dun sa backdoor kitchen. So there's stairs up there. And from the corner of my eye, I see like it looks like my roommate. Sabi ko, like, and I was about to yell at her because I'm like, don't go there because we're all going in one place. Why? Don't split up the group. Like we're papunta naman tayo sa taas. And then I looked and I screamed her name towards that side. Like, well, not scream, but like I was like, hey, that was when I turned my head fully, like all that was there was parang it was kind of like the shadow and it was kind of dissipating. It disappeared. And then I look forward and I see my roommate and she's still walking towards the stairs to the back door of our kitchen. And the thing was like that thing looked a lot like my friend at first, but then as I turned my head, it just turned into this shadow thing and it poof disappeared. But it was like it was mid walk and it disappeared. So I don't know what that is about. So those are my experiences here in the US. There's the more heavier ones that I'll probably have to like write it down and like email you so we could
Yeah.
have that thing. Because there's that one time with that one family. The other thing at my house, because that was terrifying. And some other comedic stories that I have to ask permission. It's kind of silly, but like it's kind of the lighter side of spirituality. It involves animals. It's really funny, but to me at least. Pero yeah, those are my experiences. So lesson here: if you go to a forest preserve or any kakahuyan here in the States, I don't know how it is sa Pilipinas because I haven't been home for a while and I haven't gone hiking sa Pilipinas. Although there was this one point where I was like 8 years old and I was playing, and this is gonna sound terrible. I think nasa Bicol kami noon and we were going someplace. I think umaakyat kami somewhere. I don't remember anymore, but there was a hot spring involved. So papunta kami doon and we had like this little stop kasi I don't know if they were refueling or they wanted snacks or something. Pero once again, it was like the woody part of the gubat part of the mountain place. I think I don't know where it was. I don't really remember, but all I remember was I was playing and I heard singing. And I was like, oh my God, gusto ko, like, I was like little, so I was like, oh, gusto ko makikanam. So like, I want to play with them. And the thing is, I didn't go that far. Because I could still see like the Jeep, I could still see the tindahan, I could still see, people. And I didn't go that far. But like apparently, tinatawag ako ng mami ko. And I wasn't answering. But I was. Pero like, but I was like, okay, fine, I'll go to her kasi baka it's time to leave. And she was like, saan ka pumunta? But in Bicol, and I was like, dun lang, I was playing. And she's like, I didn't see you. I'm like, but I saw you. So I don't know what happened there. And I just kind of left it alone for a while because like I didn't really think of it. I was a child. I was like, that's silly. Maybe she just didn't see me. But the thing was, now looking back, I remember being able to see my mom. I wasn't hiding behind a tree, but she couldn't see me. So I don't know if I was like this close to be like being spirited away or something, or talagang they just were playing tricks on my mom, or maybe playing tricks on me. But she says like I wasn't answering, but I was yelling back, "Po, po," and then I came back and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "It's time to go." And so, but she said she didn't see me, so that was like the weird part. And I don't know if that's a thing sa Pilipinas na
May nagkwento before na bata siya, tapos ganun rin, tinatawag na siya, baka off the air yun, hindi ko alam kung saan na yun, nalilito na ako sa stories. Tinatawag siya, hindi niya naririnig, pero nakikita nila siya. Parang ganun eh. Baka kala ko si Liz pala. Hindi pala.
yeah, that was like the opposite of what was happening to me. I could hear
Opposite
my
for you.
mom.
Yeah. Oo.
Yeah, but she wasn't. I was trying to, talk to her and say like, "Well, I'm here," because I was like not that far from. I could still see everything. Like it's not that far. Na hindi nila ako marinig because I can hear my mom and I could see the jeep and I could see yung tindahan. So it was just kind of weird. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, that is really, really
Yes,
weird, and
oo.
that is very concerning. And I could imagine how my mom felt and how she must have, because she couldn't see me or she couldn't
Yes.
hear me. But when I came out, she's like, "Where have you been?"
Saan ka galing?
Yung ganun. So I felt bad for my mom now. Kasi talagang nilalaban ko dun sa mommy ko na, like, no, I could hear you. I was saying po, but I just left it alone.
Meron, I'm not sure if napakinggan mo na Elsie yung episode ni
Po.
RH. Ang Kaibigan Kong Multo, yata ang title eh. Have you heard of that episode? Ang Kaibigan Kong Multo.
Baka po kasi I use this podcast to listen while I work. It's kind
Okay.
of like background music.
Okay.
And
Okay lang.
listen, you're getting streams.
Yeah, okay lang. So, meron kasi siyang kinukwento doon. When he was young, he would see, dinidescribe mo yung tall, yung parang super long legs na tall creature crossing roads. So I remember this story. Sabi niya, ganun, medyo similar to your description. So if you would go to that episode, try to listen to it. But he made the comic out of his experiences. So I'm going to show you what that tall creature looked like. Pero sabi niya, of course, the one in the comic is parang edited na yan for a comic. Meaning, in terms of its actions, in terms of its movement. Pero parang ganyan yung itsura ng tall creature na nakikita niya. Pero long legs rin. So I'm not sure if it's similar to what. Pero ganyan daw yung face. Pero ganyan, as in super tall daw. Ganyan yung katakas. Pero black rin lang.
I've never seen the face of the thing that walks between the roads. Yung alam ko talaga, it's just a dark. It's not a bad presence. It's just kind of a shadow na solid. Na you can still see through it, pero you can tell that if you put it next to an actual shadow and that shadow thing, they're not the same thing.
Okay.
So like, what's it saying? Same description dito sa podcast na to, yung shadow man. I don't know if it's like a shadow man, but I get what you're getting at. But I feel like for me, parang baka hindi na kami in tune ng entity na yun, kasi it wasn't like that. It's not out to get people. It just minds its own business and it crosses the street to more trees, to more woody areas, and that's it. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. There are like things though, like there are shadow people in my parents' house that they're kind of intrusive. Like they watch people. Like my lola came to the States and she was living here for a bit, and she was in my one of ano yun, parang kwarto ng isa kong kapatid, and we just kind of let her use it. And sabi daw niya, sabi ng lola ko, parang when she was sleeping, she felt someone or something na parang tumabi sa kanya while she's on the bed. And then yung kwento ng boyfriend ng kapatid ko na parang that room is across another room. So parang like they're face to face. So their doors face each other. So bukas yung pinto ng kwarto ng where my sister and her boyfriend are sleeping. Tapos bukas din yung kwarto ng ng lola ko at that point. And sabi ng boyfriend ng kapatid ko, there was something staring at them that's standing like at the doorway. I don't remember if it's like the doorway of my grandma's room or talagang sa doorway ng kwarto nila, but there's that one thing sa bahay namin. And the thing is, it's like we don't know if that one thing already lives there or if that one thing that's staring at them came from the other house, because there's two houses involved with this, and both those houses are weird. Kasi on the on and when it's gonna get like confusing. So house A and house B. House B is the most recent house we have. House A is I know is the old house that we have. House A now belongs to my aunt, because we just and then house B is where we currently, or where my parents currently live. In house A, I remember coming home from the Philippines, and I was lying down in my room, and pagod ako. I was jet lagged and everything. Pero like I wasn't that tired. I was lying down, and I was staring, and my bed faces my closet. And my closet, I don't know how to explain it, pero when you open it, hindi siya yung parang pinto. It's like, it's not French doors. Tumitiklop siya on itself. So I don't know how to explain it, but that's how it looks like. And I'll find a picture, and then it's gonna make sense. But the point of this is na yung pinto na yon, because there's two doors to my closet, and it's not because it's big, it's because it's just wide. It's like wall to wall kind of thing, and it's like a foot and a half deep in. So that's how it is. So I'm lying down there, and I want you to know that dapat mong hatakin yung pinto to like, in order to just open it so it folds on itself, na parang tumitiklop siya. That, while I was lying down in my room, one of the doors to my closet did that.
Okay.
And it opened by itself.
Mm-mm.
And then I was like, that's weird. And I fell asleep because I didn't care, obviously.
Mm-mm.
House B is a different story. House B is like, there's a portal in our basement. So maraming scary stuff that happened there too. But I'm not prepared right now to say, to recount those stories. But those are my experiences here. I mean, sa Pilipinas, I did have like one weird experience aside from that one. Taga Bicol po ako, and taga probinsya, and then the schools there are not that big, and especially during the time na I was living there, it was like 2000 something, right? Hindi pa, technology's not that, advanced yet, and especially sa mga probinsya, we're kind of a little bit behind during that time. Di ba yung sa schools sa Philippines, they're like parang outdoor
Yung
sila.
iba, yes.
Yes. So one of my school was like that. There's two weird things. One didn't happen to me, and one happened to me. So sa pinaka far side ng school namin, there's still classrooms, but that's like the last row of classrooms sa school namin. And there's this tree. And mababang tree lang siya. And I don't know if it was raining or something, but I had my umbrella with me. That's not important, but I just remember this day very clearly. I had this umbrella, and it was blue, and it was like a little Winnie the Pooh umbrella. So I was really young. And maybe I was like 8 or something. Kasi I was allowed to walk home alone then. So yung puno, sa very, very, very far side ng school namin, with the last rows of classrooms, there's this tree. And during that day, may napansin akong weird. And, you're still a kid and you're innocent. And sabi ko, kasi may nakita akong bata sa puno.
Nasa taas ng puno?
He's like, the tree's not that big. It's like, you can climb on it. Sabihin na natin, you can climb on that tree very easily. Kasi their branches are kind of low. But the kid was in the tree, parang he climbed in the tree. And it was a boy. And this boy, parang like he played in uling.
Okay.
Because he was like very dark. And he had like curly hair. And I don't remember if he was wearing our uniform, but he had the same shorts that the boys would wear. So I assumed na he was some kind of classmate somewhere or something. Because you're a kid, you don't really, at that point I didn't really I wasn't like, hindi naman ako maghuhusga kasi like, I'm a child. Like, I don't, kids don't really do that. At least I didn't. So, nakita ko siya and I was like, bakit ka na, like, I think, pauwi na kami nun eh. So, hapon na, which is getting concerning at this point. Hapon na to, and I was looking at the kid na parang he played in so much charcoal or uling or something kasi talagang dark yung skin niya direct, like it's black. And he's wearing the shorts ng boys. Wala siyang chinelas. So I was like, I wanted to ask him if, he needs help or like if, baka may kailangan siya. So I was like, hey, dun sa bata, sabi ko, hey, parang like, uy, ganun, yung mga galaw bata na, uy, bumaba ka dyan, ganun. Tapos, yung kaklase ko, I'm not gonna say her name, tawagin natin na siyang Nika. Si Nika, she's like, sino kausap mo? Sabi ko yung bata. Wala siyang tsinelas, parang uling-uling siya or whatever. Sabi niya, walang bata dyan, hindi ka nga, uwi na kita, uwi na
Oo.
tayo.
Oo.
Sabi ko, oh, okay. Yeah, that's ako lang nakakita sa batang yun. Like, pero I don't wanna call him batang uling, but like,
Maraming
it's just
ganyan eh.
weird.
Oo. Pero, syempre, nangyari yun, matagal na eh. No? Pero hindi mo tinry
Opo.
i-alamin ko ano nang... Kasi minsan pag na-gets mo yung history of that place or if merong deaths doon, minsan nako-connect mo eh. Pero I guess ang hirap. Either nasunog yan na kid or... Kasi marami rin kwento mga kids na dark skinned eh. So hindi ko alam if they were souls of kids who were burnt or minsan sinasabi nila is elementals rin eh. So it's hard to define actually.
Yeah, like I can still remember his face. Alam ko curly yung buhok niya, pero yung curly ng buhok niya, it's nakadikit siya sa scalp.
Nasa
So,
scalp,
like,
oo.
it's like, it's not like yung wavy na mahabang buhok. It's like yung curl na, na dikit sa anit.
Oo.
That was the kind of curls that he had, and he was just dark. Like, he played in coal and stuff like that. And then, I don't know if this is like kwentong, like elementary school, but apparently, sa likod ng mga, the last row of classrooms where that, that area where the tree is, there's like a nicho
Okay.
behind
Yes.
one of the classrooms. And I didn't look at it very, very clearly, but there was like a little, tawag nito? It's like, hindi siya marble, pero concrete siya. And it was like this little, ewan ko kung, I don't know what to call it, kasi it's like a little pillar, but not really. It almost looks like a tombstone, but it was like, parang it was already broken. So that's what that's what it looks like. So maybe that has some
Connection
truth to
din.
it na baka meron po talagang nicho sa likod ng classroom ng pinaka last row ng classroom namin dun sa school. And then the second story is story ng librarian namin. So yung library po namin, and I think the school is old, and I don't know how to explain this. So pero there's like sa library po, it's not on the ground. Parang may mga pillars po sa ilalim ng library. So nakaangat po yung library namin.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
You can actually go through in and out of the library like that to like shortcut papuntang from like the grade 1 side of the school to like the grade 6, 8, 7, whatever. Grade 6, grade 5, I don't know. I don't remember anymore. And that's also, yung library is also next to the last row of, hindi siya like directly, like magkatikit. Pero, po siya, they're in the same area. That's what it looks like. So, yung library namin, it's, siya, dapat ka umakyat, and then, sa front ng school, past like the administration office, then you can get to the library. So, ganun. So, ang library namin, it's also mahaba and small. And it's small and mahaba at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. Pero there's 2 sections ng library. Yung section ng library namin is yung parang classroom section. And then yung other section is yung parang, I think, storage kind of area. Pero you can still see kind of, ano lang, parang yung divider lang nila is like this one cabinet and then a mababaw na row ng books or like bookshelf, and that's it. And then that's where the most farther side of the library is where we keep like our old mga exhibition stuff, like during Buwan ng Wika or something, where we have like this model of somebody wearing Katipunero clothes, right? So and then towards there too, there's like the beakers and stuff like that, and mga ibang books, and then like a little it's not a museum, but it's like a little exhibit of something. I don't remember it anymore. But the point is, the library is divided into the classroom part and then the storagey library part. And the thing is, yung classroom part is the only one that has like, ano, at that point apparently, at yan yun lang may mailaw, and then the rear one, hindi namin, I want to talk in Bicol, but I can't. Hindi namin doon yung ilaw kasi there's no need, kasi wala naman doon. So this was, I don't know when this happened kasi ito lang yung kwento namin sa school. One time, yung librarian namin, because it was after school and people were still studying kasi school or something or test season is happening, ewan ko. And the thing with our school is matanda na siya, and there's like not, or like it's old, and there's not really much funding kasi we're just kind of at that point we're just a very small school. It's not, mababang paaralan lang po kami. So there's like the floors in our library has holes in it. There's like some part of that, and it's not everywhere, but there's just some parts of it na nakikita mo yung sa ilalim ng library, which is that one siwang place, the underneath thing, kasi nga it's on those posts. And this happened to one of our librarians. She was staying late. The kids were there were some kids in the library studying, and then yung nakabukas lang yung bintana ng classroom side, but the dark side of the class, the farther side of the library, it's closed. The windows were closed, or yung, alam niyo ba yung kahoy na blinds?
Yes.
They didn't open that. Kasi like there's no really need kasi wala namang kids doon. And they know na, wag not to go there if the lights are not on. And if you do need a book from there, you have to tell the librarian. So the kids were studying. Maybe it was like after school, so maybe like 5:30 or something, ewan ko, but the point is it was afternoon. Tapos, yung librarian namin, she's like, may naamoy siya, and she was like, who's smoking? Sino nagsismoke? And, that's a big deal kasi you're not supposed to smoke, but, there are still kids to try to experiment with that. And, of course, the kids are like, hindi po kami, ma'am, kasi you can see us. But she's like, no, it's not here. Parang, she's like, I think it's over there. So she started following where the smoke smell was coming from. And doon sa may sa may darker side of the library, the one that's like the library part with the Katipunero model or whatever. And then of course the natural instinct of a librarian, because she's like, oh my God, they're hiding in the dark side so I don't notice them. So she's like, I'm gonna go there. And she does go there. And then she's surprised when she turns on the light. Walang kids that side of the library.
Yes.
However, may nakita siya sa ilalim ng
Siwang.
because there's a hole. The siwang, there's a hole in that siwang, and she saw the smoke coming out from there, or like the smell at least. So she's like, oh my God, nahuli ko sila. But when she looked and she peeped into that hole, and it's like a sizable hole, apparently what she saw wasn't a child. It was something with red eyes that was also kind of dark skinned, and it was smoking.
It was smoking, meaning there was smoke coming out of its body, or it was smoking nagsisigarilyo.
It's like sigarilyo. Yep.
Okay.
So I don't know what that is. Kasi that's how that story ends, and I don't know what happens after, but that's one of the stories that gets passed down. So I don't know if it's like a fictional story to warn kids not to smoke or not to stay out late or something. Pero judging by yung like my story with the kid who's like yung kid na maitim
Yes,
and
yes.
that other maitim thing, maybe there is some credence to it. But the thing is, the kid that I saw, he didn't have red eyes. He was just a kid, and it was like, but nobody can see him. I could see him. Sabi ba sa akin, buang ka, mauli na kita. Nabubuang ka na? Sabi ko, di naman yung batit to. Wala siya tinilas. Yung nakita ko po, bata po siya. He's like,
Bata na maitim, no?
bata na maitim po. Tapos, makulit po yung buhok. He doesn't have a shirt. Pero yung short niya, parang uniform po ng mga bata na boys dun sa amin. But he's not wearing shoes. And he had like regular feet, but they were kind of like malapad. So I was like, I'm not judging that. Maybe he just has white feet. So yun po yung there's like much more serious stories that I have. There's like one very serious story that I have, and then that driving story towards my sister's college. Those are like my two most there's nothing really that serious or that scary that happens to me that's like, I don't have a lot of scary experiences, but I do have like certain experiences that kind of make me pause.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, that's my contribution for now.
Yeah. Okay lang. Okay lang naman.
But like, there's always been people in trees, even sa Pilipinas. But like here, they look
even in the States,
po.
people in trees for you
People
in the
in
States.
trees. Maybe sometimes they come out of trees, but I just don't notice. I don't pay attention to them because I'm like, I'm minding my own business.
They are people. They look like people.
There was this one time I was staring off into space, and but the space were trees. I was staring at trees, but I wasn't directly looking at it. And one time I was like, man, I wonder what it would look like to be in like the realm of fairies, right? Or something like that. Or ano kaya yung kaharian nila or something. And then out of nowhere, I got this vision, and it was this really, really shining place, but the place isn't like yung landscape. It was a room. And this room had very, very tall, like ceilings, very high ceilings. And the whole entire thing was made out of marble. And there was a long table that was, I don't know if it was wood or if it was marble, but I remember that the windows were parang patangkad sila, and they're skinny windows. And parang yung point nila, it's not a sharp point, parang parang, how do I explain it? They look like church windows na parang yung parang Gothic windows. Pero it's not like, it doesn't look Gothic. It's just the shape of a Gothic window. And the trimming on it was this dark wood. And across, it's hard to explain. I have to like draw it for people to understand.
Yeah.
But there's this table, and I don't know if it's made out of marble, but there was this table and it was white. And everything in that room was like white. It looks like a hall, like some kind of dining hall or something. I don't know what the back, because I was looking forward. I don't know what the stuff behind me looked like. I was just looking forward. And if you keep walking towards that like place, there's parang it's like a balcony made out of marble as well. But everything was so shiny, and that's where it ended. It only happened once, and I was like, whoa. So this happened to the States. Like that vision happened in the States. I don't know what else. Like, I don't know how to explain. Kasi di naman ako mahilig Di naman ako mahilig mag-invento. Like, I'm not a writer. I'm not that creative of a person to like make stuff up like that. It was just so sudden too, and it was so clear. And Derek, I want to tell you, like, it was made out of like, it looks like very expensive marble, and the place was so bright. I don't know if pinagbigyan lang ako or something.
Yes, because you thought about
Yeah.
it, di ba?
I thought about it, and I was just kind of musing and wondering na, ano kaya yung itsura ng dito? ng fairy kingdom here. But everything was made out of marble. And I'm like, now that I'm looking back to it, I'm like, that must have been super expensive. So like it baka talagang like kingdom yung nakita ko or yung a castle or something. This is just me, Derek, ha, pero I don't know kung sino yung nag-ano sa'kin, nagpakita nun sa'kin. I'm gonna be honest with you. I heard that one Baguio episode on the podcast, and I was doing my laundry, and I was like, I was half paying attention to it, but I could only hear like little parts of it. I was half paying attention because I like the laundry here is the States. Like I have to put in money in the machine and then wait and then make sure nobody takes my stuff. So I was preoccupied, but like they mentioned something about like encantos and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I wonder what it would look like to see yung mundo ng mga engkanto or like kaharian ng mga engkanto, and that's when the vision happened to me, and I was like, and I had to like double check with myself because I'm like, maybe I'm just imagining this or baka gawa ko lang to because I was influenced, but I'm like, looking back, I'm like, that's not how I would imagine like a fae or fairy world would look like, because I'm like it because when people say fairy, I'm like, I'm thinking of Tinkerbell and Sleep and like Pixie Hollow because I grew up reading those books. So I'm like, this is something that I really don't think about. Na, like out of everything that I could imagine, I'm like, this is not what I think of a fairy kingdom would look like. So I'm still kind of like I could still remember it, Derek. I should draw it and I'm gonna send it to you,
Yes.
and you're gonna be like, I would expect like a fairy realm to have like a lot of gold, but there was just marble, like
Baka depends
white
eh. Depends
marble.
on which entity or which fairy world you connected to. Again, quantum entanglement, di ba? Parang probably thought about it and then it connected with something or someone and it said, okay, here, have a see, have a look see. And that's what you saw. And this is just my assumption. I have a feeling that the different it depends again on where you are in the world and they have different maybe rules. Kasi parang again, lumalabas sa kwento ni Sam to, sa kwento ni Olivia, sa kwento ni JP rin. Entities in the UK and spirits in the UK, they act differently from entities and spirits here in the Philippines. So I would assume na their realms also in those different places would be different as well.
That makes sense.
So possibly nakita mo it's particular to I guess North America. I get ba? Or well, you're part of
Ano?
the world.
The funny thing is that sabi ni Ina, Ninang Poleng, that may ano daw ako, I don't know, like there was like I had a fairy na nagbabantay daw sa akin, and I don't know. Because after I heard that, I was saging everything. I'm like, absolutely not. Because I know about like Western and or like European fairies, and they're not quite. I know they're not as. They're kind of cruel.
Actually, if you think
And-
about it, like it's kind of the same first from stories here. That just me, kasi I mean they abduct children. It happens there. It happens here, diba?
Yep.
But anyway, yeah,
I'm
go
very
ahead. Sorry.
wary of them because the stories na kinalakihan na ano namin, it's like, uy, mga engkanto dyan, wag kang tuturo, wag kang sasabi na ganun, tabi-tabi po ka. I still do tabi-tabi po here in the States because it's been so ingrained into me. But like I try to not entangle myself with any kind of fae in the States kasi there's a different playing field here, and then sabi daw nga, and also I want you guys to know, like even though I'm far away from like the Appalachian Mountains, I think the story goes is yung Appalachian Mountains were the same mountains that were formed with the Scottish mountains.
Talaga?
So that's why there's a lot of like overlap between, what people in the Appalachians Mountains, or that's like the Kentucky area and like Vermont and some stuff like some states like that. That's why there's like overlap with what they see in Kentucky or something to what they see in Scotland, Ireland, and the UK and stuff like that. That's what I've heard. So it's not impossible that there's some transfer between those two cultures and lands. Baka they immigrated here as well too, because I've heard that there's like sometimes the spirits and the guides come
Yes.
with them
So
to
if
to
you've
the-
read American Gods,
Mhm.
or if you've watched the series, in the book it's like, well, yun yung premise that you bring your gods with you. Kaya American Gods eh. So the beliefs of people in Ireland when they traveled to the States, some of them they brought their deities with them. Well, the gods,
Yeah,
kaya American Gods.
there's a lot of like beliefs in Appalachia. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there's this, it's not related to my stories, but it's just like, a transfer of some kind of migration of beliefs and like an evolution of beliefs. They have something called like I think it's called haint, or something. I have to double check, but there's something called haint, and it's kind of like, I'm not sure if it's a ghost or if it's a paint color, but there's a paint color that they use to drive off like spirits, and it's like some kind of blue. And then there's things like the hide behind, and there's the things God, there's a lot. And then like a cattywampus, which is, it looks like a lion with like 3 legs, or like not 3 legs, like 3 pairs of legs or something, or a tiger with 3 kinds of legs. And then there's this thing that has I think it's in Appalachia. It doesn't have a skin. Like it doesn't have skin, and it just apparently walks around. There's a lot of weird things in Appalachia. That's what I've heard. It's the more magical part, quote unquote magical part of the United States, where a lot of Americans are involved. Because most of the Americans here that I've met are kind of new age, but then sa Appalachia, it's a lot of like folk magic. So because it's there was some intermarriage of Native Americans and white people and Melungeons and stuff like that. So
you should read there's a thread in Discord. It's called Live Chat with C and Dro. If you read that, it's a conversation, because the guy had hearing disability. I saw him on Reddit, I think, and I invited him. And then he's told me, I have communication disability. So he couldn't hear well. So I said, are you open to chatting na lang? So he lives with his mom in the Appalachian. He lives near a trail, I think. So talaga mountain living siya. So the document that I have, the grounding, centering, shielding, is from him. It's from him.
Oh.
He was the one who shared that document. So again, you might want to read that. Kasi may mga experiences siya with the mountains. And anyway.
That's interesting. Oh, I should look that up. Yep, those are my stories for now.
Part 2 na lang next time, Elsie.
Part 2, yes po. I'll tell the more serious stories, part 2. And then I'll have a palate cleanser for something more adorable and funny. I have to ask permission though, but yeah.
Sige lang. Ayun. So, good night, everyone. Thank you, Elsie. Thank you for sharing.
Sige po. Sige po.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you again, Elsie, for the information and the stories. Hoping, as you mentioned, we get to talk to you again and hear the other stories you have and your origin story. If you were able to guess also, Sam was the person talking to Elsie in the first part. So thank you also to Sam for participating in that introduction portion. Sam is one of our past guests. In earlier episodes, you will probably hear my theories about skinwalkers and aswangs. And yes, those were the days na kino-connect ko lahat sa Western mythology. The more we immerse ourselves into the different indigenous beliefs, we get a little more clarity that creatures, or let's say entities, are most of the time local to their area. And we try to generalize their descriptions and attributes, I guess, to make more sense for us. Hopefully, in the future, we get to talk to a Native American or an experiencer to hear more about skinny girls or Wendy's. Elsie, baka naman open si work mom magkwento. Baka lang. If this is your first foray into the podcast, welcome to the Paranormal Podcast. It is a collection of first-hand experiences of the paranormal from mostly Filipinos here and abroad. If you enjoy these type of conversations, maybe you'd like to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter X, Apple Podcasts, and Tito. New episodes every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Spotify, and Thursdays, 1:37 p.m. on YouTubes. If any of Elsie's stories resonated or got you remembering your own experiences here in the Philippines or in the great wilds of America, you can share it with me on paranormalsph@gmail.com. Or, if you're shy and you'd prefer to share it via chat, you can join the Discord server of the podcast. To join, just click on the invite link in the show notes. I get some comments, I get some emails, I get some messages sometimes asking me if they could join. Everyone can join. Just click on the invite link in the show notes. Just look for the show notes and the invite link is there. Of course, a long-lost feature of the extra is the comment section. So for this episode, we're going to check out the comments in episode 161, Ang Mangdalakbay. Jackie said, "This ep will become one of my fave sessions. I feel you as a Reiki practitioner. We prefer harmony and balance. By the way, Direk, your voice is like Joe DeMango of Paranormal Podcast. Soothing, relaxing, more power." Thank you, Jackie. Thank you sa compliment. Minsan, Joe DeMango rin yata ako sa listeners kasi minsan may mga love issues pero maraming Joe DeMango dyan sa Discord. Kasi maraming issue about pag-ibig na napapag-usapan. Pero again, thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the message. I agree with you also. I prefer harmony and balance. And let's say I do my best. It's not the best, but I do my best to influence others to do the same. Thank you for reaching out, Jackie. Si Blue Morphine naman, may na-experience rin ako. Di ko po sila nakikita magsalita. Telepathy talaga. Ooh. They showed me stars na nagko-connect sa isa't isa. Napunta po ako sa hyperbolic geometry, pero mukhang flower of life siya. Hi, Blue Morphine! Wow! Kakaiba nga yan. Baka gusto mo i-share. Pero na-imagine ko nga na kung may makikipag-communicate na extraterrestrials na parang visuals and concepts ang communication medium nila na gagawin nila, di ba? And nung sinabi mo nga na nagko-connect yung star sa isa't isa, iniisip ko, does that mean merong parang faster way of traveling through star systems? Pag depende ko ng star system yung pinupuntahan mo, or parang pinakita kaya sa'yo saan yung source ng mga nandito sa Pilipinas, nandito sa mundo, kung saan tayo nanggaling. So very interesting kung ano yan, di ba? Let's see. Pero nang sinabi mo nga yung flower of life, na naalala ko si Terrence Howard, napaisip ako na if may na-crack kaya siya ng information about the flower of life. So kung mapapakinggan yung episode niya with Joe Rogan, dalawa yun, may kasama siyang scientist. What if lang, meron connection talaga yung flower of life, yung imagery na yun, sa ating pag-solve sa ating cosmic cousins, di ba? Sabi nga nila. If may kwento ka pa, Blue Morphine, baka gusto mo email yan sa akin. Alam mo naman. Konti lang tayong interesado sa mga ET experience. Si Gail naman, hello, may similar experience po kami. Uy, may I ask kung sino po ang pwede makontact sa past life reading. Hi Gail, isa pa lang nakausap kong past life reader. Search mo na lang yung episode, title is Past Lives. Meron siyang contact info doon sa pagkakaalala ko. Ano ba yung similar experience mo? Curious lang. Si Aid naman, sobrang interesting tong episode na ito. Ang dami kong na-pick up na probable connection sa ET-verse, of course. And if napanood mo yung ep ng Y-Files regarding Project 8200 Alien Bases Underground. AIDS. Hi Aid, hindi ko pa nakapapanood yan. Check ko yan. Pero yes, fan ako ni AJ and Hecklefish. Sheeple! Anyway, nag-hope ako minsan na ma-interview ko siya para no holds barred, kasi minsan nagpipigil siya sa show niya. So sa atin, wala namang Amerikanong manunod ng show natin. So baka mas magbigay siya ng info or theories niya. Pero yan, salamat Aid. Check ko yung episode ng Y-Files. Balitaan kita. Si Joseph A. naman, sabi niya, watching and reading too much sci-fi stuff. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji. Ayan, meron tayong non-believer. Pero Joseph A., you might want to watch and read the actual disclosure happening around UAPs, NHIs, and the sci-fi. Just for you, I'll put links in the show notes of articles and interviews that tackle these topics. Granted that Floor's experience might not be touched upon in these articles, but they are a step towards that. And if you are interested, only if you're interested, I hope you will read them with an open mind. Ang daming topic sa ET. Nabuhay na naman ang aking pag-iisip sa mga ET. So pag-usapan natin yan sa LL portion mamaya. Pero syempre bago tayo mag-end, papasalamat tayo at mag-big shoutout tayo sa ating Paranormal Patreons and Coffee supporters. Maraming salamat. Mark, Hotaru, Yad, Dreamcatcher, Ray, Aryan, Fallen, Leia, Laura, Leslie, Introvert, Kim, Kitten, JRS, Emrys, K. Kent, Biker Mama, J3, Justine, Janelle, and Cap. Thank you to our Patreon and Coffee supporters. In case curious kayo kung ano yung perks ng Patreon, click mo lang yung link sa show notes para malaman yung different tiers of support. Thank you again to our Patreons and Coffee supporters. There are other ways to support the podcast. You can share it or on TikTok. Thank you to Box Set Bully. Actually, shinare niya yung podcast sa kanyang TikTok about favorite Filipino podcasts horror. So, thank you. Thank you, Box Set Bully, for sharing that. And na-mention nga doon sa The Gods Must Be Crazy. So, check nyo rin yun. Na-interview ko rin sila. So, baka gusto nyo support ang Filipino podcasts. The Paranormal Podcast is engineered and produced by F90 Productions. Maraming salamat ulit sa lahat. Please stay safe. Hello, peeps! Okay. Meron tayong reading session ngayon. Babasahin ko sa inyo. Yung isang portion lang sa libro ni Paul Wallace, The Scars of Eden. Okay. May portion siya dito na bigla akong napaisip rin. Sabi ko, oo nga no! Saan yun? Nahanap ko ngayon. Ayun. Okay. So, page 90 or page 91. Chapter 8, Times and Places. So, minimension niya na yung mga ibang ancient or indigenous stories, palagi may pinapoint out silang items about different star systems. So, sabi niya nga, isa-isahin ko, sabi niya, may Mesopotamian texts, tinatawag nilang Anunnaki or Sky People. Yung Genesis, tinawag silang Elohim, the powerful ones. Sa Popol Vuh naman, I think sa medyo South American yun, tinatawag silang those who engineer. So, iba-iba yung tawag, feeling ko, assumption ko, iba-ibang entities to, iba-ibang ETs or let's say, baka entities, di ko rin sigurado. And palagi may pinapoint silang star system. Hindi lahat, pero karamihan sa kanila. So, isa doon yung Dogon people of Mali sa West Africa. Sinasabi nila yung prehistoric shooters nila nanggaling sa isang planet orbiting Sirius C. So, pag Egyptian and Mayan books of the dead naman, yung pinapoint to nila na stars, constellation ng Orion. Okay. Sa Aboriginal Australians naman, or ibang Native Americans rin, pinapoint naman nila ng location ng kanilang, kumbaga, origin is sa Pleiades. So, again, very interesting na iba-ibang star system. Ang magandang point dito ni Paring Paul, sabi niya, ang interesting dyan, palagi na may mention, Sirius star system, Orion star system, Pleiades star system. And sabi niya, yung Bible's oldest book, Job, connects all three. Bakit? Bakit connects? Okay. So, context rin lang. May context rin lang siya sa Book of Job. Sabi niya, it is a bit of a mystery. Some scholars believe it to be an Arabic book, which somehow migrated its way into Hebrew scrolls. So sabi niya, it is one of the clues minsan na, yun nga, merong governing sky people o may sky council na parang advanced species governing over Earth. And yun nga, sa 38th chapter ng libro, ito daw nakasulat. Can you bind the chains of Pleiades? Can you shake off the cords of Orion? Can you take charge of a family of stars in their season? Can you lead Sirius with their satellites? So, again, chains of Pleiades, cords of Orion, cords. The leadership of Sirius. So, it is, sabi nga niya, again, I'm just quoting him, sabi ni Paul, it is all about power exerted over humanity from these three regions of space. Yun. So, pag-isipin mo, nga, sino ba in charge? Bakit yung tatlo na mention? Is it because meron nanggagaling doon na nag-uutos-utos sa atin? May galit sa mga authority, ano? Pero parang ganun. Again, i-research nyo, pero yun nga, nakasulat yun sa Book of Job. So, minsan isipin mo, anong significance nun? Kayo kasi, puro ET na pag-usapan natin sa comments. So, napunta ako dyan. Yan, again, I think na-mention ko to sa isang live last week or this week, na, yun nga, I think there was a time in our ancient history na meron talagang nag-govern and lumalabas yung mga pangalan ng mga governors, mga governor, lumalabas sila sa ancient text. Lumalabas sila sa Bible. Diba? Yung names kung saan sila nanggagaling. And ayoko na syempre isa-isahin pa sino yung mga nasa Orion, sino yung mga nasa Pleiades, sino yung mga nasa Sirius. Diba? Kung ano itsura nila, kung ano yung governing style nila. Iba-iba yun eh. Pero hahaba ang LL pag ganun. So, suggestion ko, research nyo, check nyo. Sino ba ang Pleiadians? Sino bang mga nanggaling sa Orion star system? Sino ba yung sa Sirius? Sa Dogon tribe, sabi nga parang dolphin. Not sure. Pero yun. Okay, so dyan tayo may mag-end para mapaisip kayo. Bakit nasa Bible yung tatlong na yun? And bakit lumalabas sila sa iba't ibang, sa Egyptian, sa Mayan, sa Dogon tribe ng West Africa? Palaisipan. Okay, ingat po tayo.